Did we really land on the moon? Or was it all fake? This question has sparked one of the biggest conspiracies in modern history, and today, we're going deep into the facts, the myths, and the shocking details most people have never heard before. In 1969, during the Apollo 11 moon landing, humans achieved what once seemed impossible, landing on the moon and returning safely to Earth. But almost immediately, some people began to question it. They pointed to strange details. The flag appears to wave, there are no stars in the sky, and shadows don't look right. At first glance, these claims seem convincing, but when you understand the science, they tell a completely different story. Let's start with the flag. Many believe it's waving in the wind, but the moon has no atmosphere, no air, no wind. The flag looks like it's moving because it was mounted on a horizontal rod and twisted as astronauts planted it into the ground. Without air resistance, it kept its shape, creating that rippled look. Next, the missing stars. People ask, if they were in space, why can't we see stars? The answer lies in photography. The lunar surface is extremely bright because it reflects sunlight. Cameras were set to capture that brightness, and as a result, dim stars simply didn't show up, just like you can't see stars in photos taken during the day on Earth. Now here's where things get really interesting. One of the most shocking facts is that astronauts brought back over 800 pounds of moon rocks. These weren't just studied by NASA, they were analyzed by scientists all over the world, including countries that were rivals during the Cold War. These rocks have unique chemical compositions and isotopic signatures that are extremely difficult, if not impossible, to replicate on Earth. If the landing was faked, how did they get those? Another mind-blowing detail, there are mirrors on the moon right now. Yes, actual reflectors placed there by astronauts. Scientists still use them today by firing lasers from Earth and measuring how long it takes for the light to bounce back. This allows us to measure the distance between Earth and the moon with incredible precision. These reflectors are still working more than 50 years later, proof that something, or someone, put them there. And here's something most people don't think about, the world was watching. During the space race, the United States and the Soviet Union were fierce rivals. The Soviet Union had every reason to expose a fake moon landing if it were possible. But they didn't. In fact, they tracked the mission independently and never disputed it. Think about that, if there were even a hint of deception, it would have been one of the biggest political victories in history to reveal it. Let's talk about the technology, because this is where people get skeptical. How could computers weaker than today's smartphones send humans to the moon? It sounds unbelievable, but that's exactly what makes it so impressive. The Apollo guidance computer had less processing power than a modern calculator, yet it was designed with incredible precision and reliability. Engineers had to do more with less, relying on brilliant design rather than raw power. In fact, during the landing, alarms went off in the spacecraft's computer, and the situation was so critical that the astronauts had only seconds of fuel left. The landing wasn't smooth or easy, it was risky, real, and incredibly close to failure. Now let's flip the question. If the moon landing was fake, what would that actually require? It would mean thousands of engineers, scientists, astronauts, technicians, and officials all conspired together and kept the secret for over 50 years. No leaks, no credible confessions, no solid evidence, just silence. In reality, that's far harder to believe than the landing itself. Another shocking fact, modern spacecraft have taken high-resolution images of the landing sites. You could actually see the descent stages, the paths astronauts walked, and the equipment they left behind. These aren't old photos from the 1960s, they're recent images captured by satellites orbiting the moon. That means the evidence is still there, visible today. So why do people still believe it was faked? Part of it comes down to human psychology. We're naturally drawn to mysteries and hidden truths. Big achievements can feel almost too incredible to be real, so we look for alternative explanations. Add in distrust of institutions and the spread of misinformation, and you have a conspiracy that refuses to go away. But when you step back and look at all the evidence, the moon rocks, the reflectors, the global tracking, the photos, and the science, it all points to one conclusion. The moon landing wasn't fake. It was one of the greatest achievements in human history, a moment when humanity pushed beyond its limits and reached another world. And maybe the most mind-blowing part of all? We did it over 50 years ago, with technology far less advanced than what we carry in our pockets today. So the real question isn't just whether we landed on the moon, it's what we're capable of next. If this shocked you, imagine what else you might not know. Stay curious, and keep questioning. but always follow the evidence. Like, subscribe, and share for more deep dives into mysteries.